You want to save money at the pump? I've got something better than any app or loyalty card. I'm talking about the kind of wisdom that old-timers carried around in their heads for decades. The stuff that never made it onto any website because the people who knew it were too busy actually saving money to write it down. My grandfather drove the same truck for 31 years and barely ever complained about gas prices. I used to think he was just lucky. Turns out he was just paying attention. Today I'm counting down 25 of his best fuel-saving secrets, the ones gas stations and oil companies genuinely hope stay buried. And I've got a bonus trick at the very end that most people have never even considered. Let's get into it. Number 25. Never fill up at the first station you see. Grandpa had this rule. Never stop at the very first gas station you pass when your tank gets low. He always said that station knows you are desperate and prices it accordingly. Stations near highway exits, near tourist areas, or sitting alone with no competition nearby routinely charge 3 to 5% more per gallon than stations just a mile or two off the main road. The fix is simple. Check prices along your planned route and identify the cheapest station in a reasonable detour distance. Even saving 10 cents per gallon over a 15-gallon fill adds up to meaningful money across a year of driving. This works because gas pricing is hyper-local and competitive. When multiple stations cluster together, they undercut each other. When a station sits alone, it sets whatever price it wants. Number 24. The tire pressure trick that costs you nothing. Every single Sunday morning, without fail, Grandpa checked his tire pressure. Not monthly. Every week. He knew that for every 1 psi of pressure you lose across all 4 tires, your fuel economy drops by roughly 0.2%. That sounds tiny until you realize most people are driving around with tires that are 4 to 6 psi underinflated, which means they are burning 2 to 3% more fuel than necessary every single day. The fix costs nothing because almost every gas station has a free air pump, and a proper tire gauge costs about $2. Check your tires when they are cold, meaning before you have driven more than a mile that day. Inflate to the number listed on the sticker inside your driver's side door jamb, not the number molded into the tire sidewall. Underinflated tires create more rolling resistance, which means your engine works harder and drinks more fuel to maintain speed. Number 23. Lose the weight you are hauling around. Grandpa's trunk was always spotless. He did not keep anything back there that he was not actively using that day. He explained it once by saying your car is not a storage unit. It is a machine, and machines work harder when they carry more. He was right. Studies consistently showed that every extra 100 pounds of unnecessary weight in your vehicle reduces fuel efficiency by roughly 1%. That might not sound like a game changer, but a lot of people are driving around with golf clubs, camping equipment, tools, sandbags, and random junk they put in the trunk 6 months ago and forgot about. Clear it out. Remove roof racks and cargo carriers when you are not actively using them because they also create aerodynamic drag that kills your mileage even when empty. Number 22. Fuel up on Wednesday or Thursday mornings. Here is one that most people never think about. Gas prices follow a weekly cycle. Stations typically raise prices heading into the weekend when demand spikes because everyone is road tripping and running errands. The lowest prices of the week almost consistently fall on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Now layer on one more detail from Grandpa. Buy gas in the early morning when temperatures are cooler. Fuel is stored in underground tanks, and liquid fuel is denser when cold. When you pump gas in the heat of the afternoon, you're getting slightly more vapor and slightly less actual liquid fuel per gallon than you would in the morning. It is a small difference, but combined with buying on a cheaper day of the week, it adds a measurable advantage over time. Number 21. The coasting technique Grandpa mastered. Old Grandpa used to look way ahead down the road like he was reading a book from 20 feet away. He was always watching for red lights, stop signs, slowing traffic. The moment he saw a red light in the distance, his foot came off the accelerator immediately, and he let the car coast toward it. He almost never braked hard unless something unexpected happened. This technique, called anticipatory driving or hypermiling coasting, saves significant fuel because every time you brake from highway speed, you are throwing away kinetic energy that your engine burned fuel to create. Modern fuel-injected engines actually cut fuel delivery almost entirely when you are decelerating with your foot off the gas, so coasting downhill or toward a stop is nearly free in terms of fuel. The earlier you lift off the accelerator, the more free distance you travel. Number 20. The 5-second rule for acceleration. Right alongside his coasting technique, Grandpa also had a rule for speeding up. He always counted in his head roughly 5 seconds to accelerate from 0 to about 40 miles per hour in normal city driving. Gentle, gradual acceleration uses dramatically less fuel than jackrabbit starts. Aggressive acceleration from a stop can consume up to 37% more fuel than smooth, measured acceleration. Your engine is most efficient when it is not under extreme load. Pressing the pedal to the floor demands maximum fuel injection. Easing onto the pedal keeps the engine in a comfortable mid-range power band, where it operates most efficiently. This single habit, applied consistently, can improve your real-world fuel economy by 8 to 12% in city driving conditions. Number 19. Stop idling. It burns more than you think. Grandpa used to say idling is just burning money with the car going nowhere. He was precise about it. If he was waiting more than 60 seconds for anyone or anything, the engine went off. Period. A typical modern engine burns approximately half a liter of fuel for every 10 minutes of idling. If you idle for 30 minutes a week warming up the car, waiting for passengers, or sitting in a drive-through lane, that adds up to roughly $75 in wasted fuel per year at average gas prices. Modern fuel-injected engines do not need extended warm-up time. 30 seconds on a cold day is genuinely sufficient before driving gently. If you are going to be stationary for more than a minute, shut off the engine. Number 18. The windows versus air conditioning debate settled. Grandpa had a formula for this that was actually backed by aerodynamics. Below about 45 miles per hour, roll the windows down and skip the air conditioning entirely. Above 45 miles per hour, roll the windows up and use the AC if you need it. Here is why. At lower speeds, air conditioning compresses and runs your engine harder, using measurable amounts of extra fuel. But open windows at low speed create very little aerodynamic drag. However, at highway speeds above 45 miles per hour, open windows create substantial drag on your vehicle's body, which hurts fuel economy more than the AC compressor does at that point. Applying this formula correctly can save you 3 to 5% on fuel costs across mixed driving conditions throughout the year. Number 17. Park in the shade whenever possible. This one sounds too simple to make a real difference, but Grandpa parked in the shade religiously. When your car sits in direct sunlight, fuel evaporates from your tank and fuel system through something called diurnal emissions. A hot car also requires much longer air conditioning operation when you first get in, burning extra fuel. A study from the National Renewable Energy Laboratory found that a car parked in direct sun can experience noticeable fuel vapor loss and require significantly more air conditioning energy on startup compared to a shaded vehicle. Find the shaded parking spot. It takes 30 extra seconds to walk a little farther and saves you real money across a hot summer. Number 16. Use cruise control on the highway. Grandpa had an old car with no cruise control, so he practiced maintaining a perfectly steady foot. But he always told me the moment I got a car with cruise control, use it every single time on the highway, without exception. Human feet naturally fluctuate speed slightly. Speeding up, slowing down, speeding up again, even when we think we are holding steady. These micro variations in speed cause repeated small acceleration events that consume extra fuel. Cruise control maintains a perfectly constant speed, eliminating those micro accelerations entirely. On a long highway trip, using cruise control can improve fuel economy by up to 7% compared to manual throttle control. Set it and let the computer do what your foot cannot do perfectly. Number 15. Buy the right octane fuel for your engine. Grandpa kept his owner's manual in the glove box, worn and dog-eared. He referred to it constantly. One thing he was adamant about: buy exactly the octane rating your car's manufacturer specifies, not higher. A massive number of drivers put premium 91 or 93 octane fuel in cars that only need regular 87 octane, thinking they are doing their engine a favor. They are just burning extra money. Unless your engine is specifically designed for premium and knocks without it, premium fuel provides zero additional performance or efficiency benefit. Conversely, if your car requires premium and you use regular, you can actually reduce performance and damage engine components over time. Read the sticker inside your fuel door. It tells you exactly what your car needs. Number 14. The engine oil viscosity secret. Old Grandpa changed his own oil for decades, and he always used the exact viscosity rating specified in his owner's manual, particularly when choosing between grades like 5W30 and 0W20. Using a motor oil that is thicker than what your engine was designed for creates more internal friction as all the moving parts churn through a heavier fluid. That extra friction costs you fuel because your engine has to work harder just to turn itself over. Using the correct viscosity, particularly one labeled energy conserving or fuel efficient on the bottle, can improve fuel economy by 1 to 2%. Over tens of thousands of miles, this is genuinely meaningful. Always match the viscosity number on the bottle to what your owner's manual recommends. Number 13. Sinking errands into one smart loop. Here is where Grandpa showed his genius in everyday life. He never ran one errand at a time. He would sit at the kitchen table with a notepad and plan every errand for the week into one efficient loop route. He started with the farthest destination first and worked his way back home in a logical geographic circle. Cold engines are dramatically less fuel efficient than warm engines. They can use up to 50% more fuel per mile in the first 1 to 2 miles of operation. Every time you start your car for a separate trip, you pay that cold start penalty again. Combine all your errands into a single trip with a smart route, and you eliminate multiple cold starts while also driving fewer total miles. Number 12. Check and replace air filters regularly. Grandpa held a dirty air filter up to the light once and showed me you could barely see through it. He said your engine is trying to breathe through that. A clogged engine air filter restricts airflow into the combustion chamber, forcing your engine to work harder and run less efficiently. The EPA estimates that a severely clogged air filter can reduce fuel economy measurably in older carbureted engines and can cause rough running and reduced power in modern fuel-injected engines, even if it does not directly cut mileage by large percentages. Check your air filter every 15,000 miles or once a year. Hold it up to a bright light. If you cannot see light passing through it clearly, replace it. A new filter costs $10 to $20 and takes 5 minutes to swap. Number 11. The manual transmission trick. Grandpa drove a manual his whole life and swore by it. If you drive a stick shift, shift up to a higher gear as early as possible without lugging the engine. Keeping engine RPMs low reduces fuel consumption dramatically. Drive in the highest gear the road speed and terrain will comfortably allow, keeping RPMs between 1,500 and 2,500 for most normal driving situations. High RPMs mean your engine is completing more combustion cycles per minute, burning more fuel per unit of distance traveled. Even if you drive an automatic, some modern transmissions have a manual mode or an economy mode that keeps the transmission shifting up earlier. Use it on flat highway driving and watch your instantaneous fuel economy numbers improve noticeably. Number 10. Roof racks and bike carriers are fuel killers. Grandpa had a bicycle rack, and he took it off the car the day after every trip it was used for. He once calculated that leaving a roof rack on all year cost him the equivalent of several extra fill-ups annually in extra fuel. A roof rack adds aerodynamic drag that can reduce highway fuel economy by 5 to 8%, even when nothing is loaded on it. Add a loaded bike carrier or cargo box, and that penalty climbs to 25% or more at highway speeds. The physics are simple. The more turbulent air your car has to punch through, the harder your engine works. Remove external accessories immediately after each use. Your wallet will thank you by the end of every road trip season. Number 9. Fuel system cleaner every 10,000 miles. Grandpa added a bottle of quality fuel system cleaner to his tank every 10,000 miles. Over time, carbon deposits build up on fuel injectors, intake valves, and combustion chamber surfaces. These deposits interfere with the precise spray pattern of fuel injectors and reduce combustion efficiency, meaning your engine burns more fuel to produce the same amount of power. A quality fuel injector cleaner added directly to your gas tank dissolves these deposits gradually and restores injector spray patterns toward factory specifications. This is not snake oil. Mechanics and manufacturers acknowledge that injector deposits are a real phenomenon and that periodic cleaning is legitimate maintenance. Choose a reputable brand and follow the dosage instructions on the bottle. Number 8. Track your real-world fuel economy. This one is about awareness, and Grandpa was obsessive about it. He kept a small notepad in his glove box and recorded every fill-up, gallons added, odometer reading, and the calculated miles per gallon. By tracking this over time, he could immediately spot when his mileage dropped, which was always an early warning sign of a developing mechanical issue, a neglected maintenance item, or a changed driving behavior costing him money. Most modern cars show an average fuel economy readout on the dashboard. Reset it at every fill-up and monitor it. If you notice a consistent drop of 2 or 3 miles per gallon over several fill-ups with no obvious cause, like colder weather, get your car inspected. Early detection of issues saves both fuel and expensive repairs. Number 7. The gradient driving technique. When Grandpa drove on roads with hills, he did something that seemed counterintuitive at first. Going uphill, he would gradually build a little extra speed before reaching the base of the incline, then allow the car to slow naturally as it climbed, using that stored momentum rather than pressing harder on the accelerator mid-hill. Going downhill, he barely touched the throttle and let gravity do the work completely. This is textbook momentum management. Your engine burns significantly more fuel when accelerating against gravity on an uphill grade. Using previously built momentum to carry you up and gravity to carry you down means your engine works less overall throughout a hilly route. Applied consistently on a route with many elevation changes, this technique produces real and measurable fuel savings. Number 6. Use ethanol-free fuel when available and practical. Grandpa sought out ethanol-free fuel whenever it was available, and the price made sense. Here is the science. Ethanol contains about 33% less energy per gallon than pure gasoline. Most pump gasoline in the United States contains 10% ethanol, labeled E10. This dilution of fuel energy means you get slightly fewer miles per gallon on E10 than you would on pure gasoline. If ethanol-free fuel is available in your area, calculate whether the typically higher price per gallon is offset by your improved miles per gallon before deciding. In many cases, especially for longer highway trips, the math works out in favor of the ethanol-free option. Check ethanol-free fuel availability in your area using the Pure Gas website or app. Number 5. Proper wheel alignment saves more than you think. Grandpa had his alignment checked every year without exception. Improper wheel alignment causes your tires to pull against each other microscopically as you drive, creating a form of constant rolling resistance that your engine must overcome mile after mile. This misalignment drag can reduce fuel economy by up to 10% in severe cases and causes uneven tire wear that shortens tire life dramatically. Alignment service costs between $50 and $100 typically and lasts a year or more under normal driving conditions. Signs your alignment needs attention include your car pulling to one side, the steering wheel sitting off-center while driving straight, or uneven tire wear on one edge of your tires. Fix it promptly and recover both fuel economy and tire longevity. Number 4. Maintain a following distance that saves gas. Grandpa called tailgaters fuel wasters, and he had the data to back it up. When you follow another vehicle too closely, you are reacting to their braking rather than anticipating traffic flow further ahead. This forces you into more frequent and sharper braking events, which waste kinetic energy and requires more aggressive reacceleration afterward. Maintaining a larger following distance, at least 3 to 4 seconds of gap at highway speeds, allows you to see farther ahead, coast more often, brake less frequently, and accelerate more gently. Large trucks and semi-trailers are actually useful to follow at a safe distance on the highway because they punch through air resistance ahead of you, reducing your own aerodynamic drag by several percent in their drafting zone without dangerous tailgating. Number 3. Oxygen sensor maintenance is non-negotiable. Old Grandpa might not have used the words oxygen sensor, but he was religious about keeping his engine running in perfect tune. Your vehicle's oxygen sensors monitor the exhaust stream and tell the engine computer how to adjust the air-fuel mixture for optimal combustion efficiency. A failing oxygen sensor can cause your engine to run rich, meaning it injects more fuel than necessary for each combustion cycle, dramatically decreasing fuel economy by up to 40% in severe cases, according to the U.S. Department of Energy. Oxygen sensors typically need replacement every 60,000 to 90,000 miles. If your check engine light is on and you are experiencing poor fuel economy simultaneously, get the codes read immediately. A $20 code reader from any auto parts store will identify this instantly. Number 2. Plan routes to avoid idling in traffic. Second position belongs to one of Grandpa's most powerful habits, route planning specifically to avoid known traffic congestion. He never just drove the fastest-looking route on the map. He thought about when traffic would be where, chose roads with fewer stoplights and less congestion even when they looked slightly longer, and he avoided rush hour like it was a thunderstorm. Stop-and-go traffic and congestion is catastrophically fuel inefficient. Every stop-and-go cycle wastes all the kinetic energy you built accelerating and forces another fuel-burning reacceleration. A slightly longer route on free-flowing roads almost always burns less fuel than a shorter route trapped in gridlock. Use navigation apps that show real-time traffic conditions and route around congestion whenever the alternative is reasonable. Number 1. The Grandpa habit that ties everything together. And the number 1 secret, the old man's crown jewel, was something he called knowing your car better than it knows itself. He monitored everything simultaneously while driving: engine temperature, RPM gauge, road conditions, weather, traffic patterns, terrain. He combined every single one of the habits we just discussed into one seamlessly integrated driving style where nothing was ever wasted. Not momentum, not fuel, not tire pressure, not maintenance intervals. The biggest fuel savings do not come from any single trick. They come from combining all these small habits into one consistent daily practice. Each of these 25 secrets individually might save you 1 to 3%. Stack all 25 together, and you are looking at a transformed vehicle that goes dramatically farther on every gallon. That is how Grandpa did it year after year without ever once complaining at the pump. And now the bonus hack, the one that genuinely floored me when he explained it. The gas cap seal test. Check your gas cap seal right now. A worn, cracked, or improperly tightened gas cap allows fuel vapors to escape your tank continuously, whether you are driving or parked. The EPA estimates that faulty gas caps cause the release of approximately 147 million gallons of fuel as vapor every year across American vehicles. Beyond the environmental waste, your vehicle is literally evaporating the fuel you already paid for out of the tank. A new gas cap costs between $10 and $25 at any auto parts store and takes 30 seconds to replace. Check the rubber seal on your existing cap for cracks or deformation. Make sure you hear clicks when you tighten it after every fill-up. This is the most invisible, overlooked fuel loss happening to millions of drivers right now, and it costs practically nothing to fix permanently. Now you have everything he knew. Start with whatever 3 secrets from this list seem easiest to implement today. Build them into permanent habits, then add more. Come back to this video, take notes, share it with someone who complains about gas prices every week. Because honestly, they need every single one of these just as badly as they think they do not.